looking at various things that we at IMAGINIT offer in the way of implementing the reality capture software, whether it be Leica software, Autodesk software, and just working through various workflows. A little bit about me. Let's see. Like Katana said, I am Jeff Bowers. I am the technical manager for IMAGINIT Technologies. I've been here about 25 years in the industry. I've been with IMAGINIT for about 13. Love what I do. I am a certified instructor, implementation expert, and we specialize all, like I said earlier, in both the Leica Geosystems software and hardware, as well as the Autodesk world. A little bit about RAN. We have four wonderful divisions inside of IMAGINIT or RAN Worldwide. We have IMAGINIT, which a lot of us are familiar with. We deal with Archibus, the Leica Geosystems. We offer professional services and trainings, all the way down to RAN 3D, RAN simulation, and Ascent. Ascent is very, very well known throughout the industry for developing the courseware. IMAGINIT Technologies, IMAGINIT Technologies, we have about 125 technical experts. IMAGINIT has about 35 years of experience with a significant amount of satisfied customers. We do have about 40 locations all over North America, down from Florida all the way up to Calgary, Vancouver area. Looking at a lot of what we do, some of you are familiar with us, some of you are not. We are the leader with Autodesk software. We are platinum partners with Autodesk and the Leica HDS technology. We offer implementation and consulting services, as well as education services. Those education services are through our training centers, our own site. With the pandemic going on, we have, really got a very, very strong virtual training environment that has been very, very, very successful. We also have support in e-learning and Productivity Now. Productivity Now, just to touch on it a little bit, is probably one of my favorite things here at IMAGINIT. We have an unbelievable e-learning platform that is going to give us, our standard fundamental classes as well as advanced classes. It's covering more than 30 Autodesk courses. We can have custom contents, enrollments, knowledge assessments, which in today's world, we want to invest in our employees and get them up to speed, making sure that we know where they need help. Because if we do that, that makes them more efficient. That efficiency ultimately comes back in revenue gain throughout our organization. We have integrated support through chat, email, and telephone. You as a user of Productivity Now can submit and monitor those cases. The technical resources, this is a place where our technical staff has worked to create white papers, how-to videos, just various tips and tricks and workflows to ensure that what you're doing is at the best it can be. With that said, let's jump into what is reality capture. Man, reality capture could be a lot of different things. I was sitting here the other day and just started thinking about all the different reality captures and why is it important? Where does it add value to my projects? Man, I could have sat here for hours and hours and put down a whole list, probably 5 or 6 PowerPoint slides long. We don't want to do that, so I condensed it. Informed design. It's going to help me understand. If I go out and scan an existing mechanical room or architectural building, anything, when I go to start my design to renovate that or to add to that. Knowing exactly where things are, it's going to save me time, it's going to save me money, make me more efficient, less rework. Clash detection. Let's say I've got an existing building and I need to take and route some new ductwork or pipe or conduit from point A to point B. Well, one of the things that I can do is go scan it. Why? Why do I go scan it? Well, let's say this. I'll go scan it, okay? I can bring that point cloud back into my Autodesk software. I can start routing my pipe, duct, conduit, cable tray, whatever I'm doing. I can route those new entities throughout my model without having to do an existing model, without having to spend a lot of resources recreating those existing conditions. So, in the plant world, that's done a tremendous amount. It also allows me to validate as-built data with construction documents. So we see this a lot in the construction world, where they're able to go out, have contractors put things in, scan it as we go to ensure that what we're putting in matches the coordination documents. So that eliminates waste, that eliminates rework, which all comes back to the same thing, saves us money. Getting into monitoring, there's a lot of times where we've got to dig big pits or big holes in the ground so that we can build a high rise. There are companies going out, scanning those open pits before the foundations are poured, and they do weekly monitorings. That way they can tell if things are starting to lean or slope or fall in, or just validating and monitoring what's going on in that process. Then it gets into document construction. This is a topic we could probably talk about for at least another 3 or 4 hours. But the one I want to hit on lastly is cultural and historic preservation. Man, there's so many times where we're looking at buildings. We're going, man, that's a really nice building. We're going to add to it. But then we start scanning it. We start capturing that data. That gives us the ability to preserve that. That way, if during construction something happens, we've got a digital twin of that facility. So we could easily go back, utilize that point cloud to potentially recreate things. For instance, let's say a gargoyle on the corner of a building. I was able to scan the building. It's maybe 2 or 3 stories tall. Let's say something happened during construction and heavens forbid, it cracked and fell apart. Okay, well, that's horrible. But at the same time, we're okay because we were able to scan it. We have good scan data on that. I can go back and start using that point cloud to start rebuilding that element that was destroyed. So a little bit about reality capture. Now what we're going to do is get into various ways of IMAGINIT technology assisting you in implementing this technology across the board. We hear it all the time. Oh, it's easy. Anybody can do it. I can I'll figure it out. Well, hold that thought, okay? Because it's not always that simple. How do we fit? All right. Yes, we are a hardware dealer, but we're not your typical hardware dealer, okay? Our focus is on your business needs. We want to We don't like doing things just saying, here you go, figure it out. That's not a proper way to spend your money. We are not just a scanner reseller. Like I said, we focus on complete reality capture. Anything from, hey, I've been using this drone. I want to move to a scanner, but I want to try to use both technologies in the same world. I want to be able to combine that data from both. We have experts that know how to do that. We have the experience in both of those technologies to be able to successfully implement and show you how that work is done. We are the best, and I will stand by this, we are the best in class for Leica and Autodesk. We provide solutions regardless of hardware configurations. We don't care if you own a competitor scanner. Great. We can take their data and implement it into our workflow and be very successful. We have numerous clients that we have done this with. With our implementation, education, and proof of concept services, this mitigates risk of adopting reality capture technologies. Our proof of concept is going to allow us to really get a hands-on use, real world case usage of the technology before you commit to the purchase. That way, when you do this, you see us, you yourself, working with this data prior to that purchase of the equipment. So going in, you know, hey, I know this works. Clients talk to us for many, many different reasons. We've been doing laser scanning with Leica for about 20 years now. We have a vast range of industry environments, experience. I had a number that I looked at a couple weeks ago. We've done well over about 100,000 scans in our reality capture team's experience. That's a tremendous amount of scans. So we want to strive to help you understand the business planning. That's what we want to, we get that down pat up front. So you now understand the business side of laser scanning. So that is another big key to success. And again, we are platinum partners with both Leica and Autodesk. So what I thought I'd do is we've got three main pieces of equipment that industry-wise, they're pretty standard, and that's what a lot of people are working with. The first one is the BLK 360. It's a fantastic little scanner, all right? It will capture data in about 3 to 6 minutes. It's pretty fast, and it's very, very simplistic and easy to use, all right? How do you get started? Once you have purchased the scanner, what we're able to do is provide you that essentials level education. And here at IMAGINIT, we call that a BLK 360 SmartStart. Our SmartStarts are 100% tailored to you, tailored to what you do in your organization. So when we come in, typically, like I said, this is 2 days. Our first day is 100% hands-on education. What we do is we don't just simply say, hey, here's the scanner, this is how you use it. That's not good enough in our opinion. What we want to do is say, hey, here's the scanner, this is how you use it. But in different environments, you need to use this scanner differently. So we try to show you as many different workflow scenarios. You know, if I'm using the BLK scanner and I'm scanning an MEP mechanical or a mechanical electrical room, That takes a little bit of different scanning skills than scanning the exterior of a building, which needs a little bit different skill set than scanning the interior of a building. There's different ways that we show you how to scan to get you the best product, to prevent you from having to go back out and capture data again because you missed something. So we spend a lot of time focusing not necessarily on hardware, but how to use that hardware in different environments. Typically, that's day one. Day two, we're back at your office or at one of our training centers. And day two is, okay, we've used the BOK. I've got this data. That's fantastic. It looks really cool. But what do I do with it? I mean, it's just millions of little dots. What good is it to me? This is where on day two, we process that data. We show you the do's, the don'ts, the whys, the why nots, the how-tos. We cover as many aspects of processing the software as we can. Later that day, typically that takes a couple hours to run through. What we finish up the day with is probably, in my opinion, one of the more important things that we do. Is now that I have this really smart, beautiful data, what do I do with it? Now we take it and we answer that question. We take it into our
Hey, Jeff, we just lost audio.
all that I can do. All of that is learned in that 2-day SmartStart. So that is going to start you off on the right foot, on the right path. All right. This is going to eliminate a lot of how you do this questions, because we've done these so many times that we're very, very familiar with a lot of the questions that come out. Go, hey, how do you do this? We already include that how-tos in the education. The next thing is the BOK to go. A lot of you have potentially heard about this. It's a brand new handheld mobile mapping scanner by Leica. It is an amazing little tool. But again, how do I get started? That's easy. Again, we have already built an essentials class, and it's called the BOK to go SmartStart. And it is very, very, very much like the BOK 360 SmartStart. We spend the entire first day with you, hands-on, in your project environment, showing you how to scan with that scanner, showing you the different tips and tricks. You know, that having that hands-on experience on one of your live projects, not only are we teaching you how to do it, but we're helping you accomplish some tasks on that project. So not only that first day, we're hands-on, 100%. Again, second day, we move into working with processing the data. And again, you're going to see a theme here over the next couple slides. We really want to focus on getting that data into a consumable that's going to make your job easier, more efficient by using tools to build my drawings or my models. That's the CloudWorks tools. People go, are they really that good? Absolutely. I stand behind them. So, next one, reality capture, or excuse me, the RTC SmartStart. I'm going to have to be honest. This is probably my favorite. All right, the RTC, it's a little bit bigger scanner than the BOK to go or the BOK 360, but I can do a tremendous amount of work in a single day with the RTC. None of these scanners are super hard. Education is required because there are always things that we're going to be able to show you that you're not going to know unless you ask and unless we show it to you. But again, we've tried to keep these as simple as possible. The RTC, again, 100% customized to your need, 100%. So if you are wastewater, we're gonna tailor this training to that workflow. If you're plant, if you're an architect, if you're an MEP consultant, doesn't matter. This is going to be tailored to what you and your firm does. Typically, first day, again, hands-on. We take you out to the job site. We teach you the do's, the don'ts, the whys, the why nots, etc. We go through as much detail as we can. We typically, there's times where people go, well, I got to scan a manhole. How do we do that? Great, let's do it. So there's nothing that, once you come away from that training, you will have a superior knowledge of how that equipment works from all three SmartStarts. Hands-on data processing in the office. We love using the data that is collected from your project because, again, you're seeing how that information, real-world information that you have to use, we start that project with you. And, again, taking that into AutoCAD, Revit, using the CloudWorks tools. The RTC data is by far the best on the market. I haven't seen any data from any competitor that's any better than that. Last thing we're going to talk about, or one of the last things we're going to talk about, is the P-Series scanner. The P-Series scanner is still a force to be reckoned with in the market. P50 scanner, that thing will scan out to 1 kilometer. 1 kilometer is about 3,300 feet. That's pretty amazing. That's cool. I mean, let's be honest. With the P-Series, it's a little bit more complicated to learn, all right? With the P-Series, this is, you thought I was going to have a 2-day SmartStart, right? I got you. This is different. With the P-Series, this is 100% custom. Our P-Series classes will range anywhere from 2 days as long as up to 5. I've done as many as 7 days of education on that P-Series scanner. You know, there's so many parts and pieces that go into a training class for a P-Series scanner. You know, things like, are you using targets? Are you using control? Are we using this in a survey workflow? Are we using it in a plant workflow? So we don't have a dedicated or a simplistic SmartStart for that because of the complexity of that piece of equipment and or software. There's a lot to it. It's still one of my favorite pieces of equipment. I know the RTC, it's still my favorite right now, but I still love the P-Series scanner. This is if you are using the P-Series scanner, we have civil experts, we have industry experts for plant and Revit. We can accommodate any training type for the P-Series scanner, or for that matter, for any scanner across the board that Leica has. So enough about the scanners and what we can do in our training classes. One of the services that we offer, like I mentioned earlier, is a proof of concept. And our proof of concept is a page engagement, but it's more than that. This is an educational demonstration in your project environment, all right? A recent proof of concept, you know, pre-COVID lockdown was we had some grain elevators, and they're like, hey, we want to scan. Other manufacturers said they really couldn't do it because of the height or because of some of the issues. Okay, so we put together a proof of concept. We took out the scanner. We worked with them. We showed them how we were able to accomplish those tasks, how and what needed to be done. Was it easy? No. But instead of us saying, no, it can't be done, or yeah, it can be done, buy a scanner. No, we want to prove it. So that's where this proof of concept comes in. We take it. We go out there with you. We talk about the scanner. We do some scanning. We do some software, put it together so that you can truly see that, hey, yes, this hardware works for my scenario. This works for my typical job. And we're very flexible with the piece of equipment. We can do a BLK 360 to go RTC P series, and you know it's not uncommon for us just to do a software. Our competitors have scanners. That's a big capital investment. I understand that. We understand that. We get it. But if I can make your software work better with your existing hardware, software is cheap compared to hardware. If I can prove to you that we can save you an abundance of time, 50% of your time in data processing and registration, if I can do that and prove it to you using a proof of concept, that's a pretty easy sell to upper management going, hey, look, we've gone through this. They've proven it. We've played with it. We know. That's a pretty easy sell to management when it comes time to, hey, here's how much it costs to improve our workflow. This is about how much time we save. Look at the ROI. It's a pretty easy sell. So we don't only do hardware proof of concept. We also do software proof of concept. And what's nice about all of this is when we're out doing this proof of concept, anything that we collect or anything that we do, you get to keep. That's a deliverable. So, you know, you're actually getting something in return. You know, we're going out and really using your scenario to prove to you that what we have will be successful. Looking at additional HDS services that we have, we are able to educate on all Leica HDS software. Anything from Cyclone, Register 360, importers, I mean, any Cyclone software, we are able to educate you and your staff on how to use that. If it's a civil workflow, we have a civil expert. If it's a plant expert or if it's a plant need, we have a plant expert. So we are able to cover all of those scenarios. We're also able to provide custom classes for Cyclone 3DR on all modules, standard, AEC, tank, survey, and even the Pro Edition, which covers everything. So, you know, if you have an environment where you want to use Cyclone survey Cyclone 3DR survey tools to, you know, recreate topos and your ground surfaces so that once we have that, we can take that into Civil 3D. We've got a workflow already set up. We've got a training class set up. We'll have a conversation with you and your staff. You know, if you want to use your data, fantastic. We'll use your data. Not a big deal. We also offer education on all the CloudWorks tools as it pertains to Autodesk. The CloudWorks for Revit, CloudWorks for AutoCAD, Navisworks. We offer all of those educations. We also offer other additional training classes on things like Jetstream, TrueView, Recap Pro, and the latest thing that has come out from Leica is Point Fuse powered by Jetstream. I'm not going to touch on that too much. It is a building meshing tool that allows us to classify what different parts and pieces of the mesh are, and it will automatically spit out a IFC file, tongue twisted, IFC file of the walls, windows, and doors. so that it does cut down on some modeling time. The last thing that I want to touch on is we do offer over-the-shoulder mentoring. This is something that a lot of people take advantage of because they said, hey, we have issues. We've been using Leica software for a couple years now, but every once in a while we run into issues. All right. Well, we structure this over-the-shoulder mentoring so that we can use it in blocks of time that will allow us to work directly with you on those issues. And that's typically good for an extended amount of time. So the over-shoulder mentoring is a great way to get help after the fact. It is not meant to replace training. So we do our training first. After the training, we'll supply some mentoring hours, and those can be used after the fact if there's any questions. One of the things that I'm very proud of here at IMAGINIT is we have the technology to make all of these classes virtual. That includes the SmartStarts. We have been extremely successful in conducting BOK 360 and RTC SmartStarts and BOK to go SmartStarts virtually. We did a SmartStart earlier this week where the client was like, man, we have to go to the job site. How are we going to make this work? Not a problem. We have the technology that we're able to have things set up on your iPad or your cell phone so that you take us to the field with you. It's a virtual field trip for us. So when we go out, we'll be on the iPad or cell phone, and we're able to watch and instruct and talk about where to place the scanner, why to place the scanner, why did we do that? So we're able to have all of that right here on our phone. So you still get that same experience of being out in the field, scanning your project, along with us assisting you and teaching you the right and wrong ways to do things. So again, we're very happy with how our virtual classes have been going. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Katana. I am done. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat, or you can email me directly.
I do have a couple of questions. First one is, are these scanners compatible with your Scan-to-BIM software application?
So IMAGINIT no longer has the Scan-to-BIM solution. Leica has made it to where the CloudWorks for Revit tools have really taken over and filled that gap. We discontinued the use of the Scan-to-BIM tools back in September of 18, I believe it was. And the reason being was that Leica had come so far along that it was just easier to not do it anymore and utilize their tools. Good question.
Next question, will you be able to use the info capture at 1 kilometer?
Info capture? Yes. If I understand this correctly, it's the scanner. We will set up a window scan and do a window scan at that distance. I believe that answered the question. If not, my email address is on the screen. Email me and we can have a phone conversation.
Okay. There are a couple other questions here, but they're better if we follow up via email. Thank you so much for watching today. This was recorded for those of you asking. It will be emailed out to you as well. So thank you so much for joining. And thank you, Jeff.
Thanks.